Hope you all are rejuvenated enough to attend the concluding session today. It's going to be a panel discussion and an invigorating one as well. It's a pleasure to introduce the chair of this session, Major General Sanjeev Sharma. He is Sena Medal, Additional Director General Tactical Communications of Indian Army. He was commissioned into Corps of Signals. He is an alumnus of the prestigious Defense Services Staff College and has held various command and staff appointments in key formations of Army in J&K, Northeast, and along Western borders. He's been intensely engaged in technology scouting, development of solutions to suit military needs, and inducting state-of-the-art capabilities towards enabling reliable combat communications and electronic warfare systems for Army. General has also spearheaded the Defense Communication Network in unifying communications between Army, Navy, Air Force, which is critical to the national efforts of jointness in armed forces. In his present assignment, besides capability building in tactical and strategic networks and electronic warfare systems, he is pursuing adaptation of key futuristic technologies to military needs, including 4G LTE networks, 5G software-defined radios, E-band radios, Army's own satellite and quantum solutions. Secure Army Mobile is a key innovative indulgence through which the General is presently engineering a pan-India secure cellular communication network, which is an aim to achieve convergence of communications and data services. Welcome, General. Thank you. And moderating this session is Shri Abdul Kayum, DDG, Telecommunication Engineering Center. Please join us on stage, sir. I would also like to introduce Ms. Shikha Srivastava, who is going to join the panel discussion. She is Director, Member Board, Center for Development of Telematics, C. She received her BTech in Electronics Engineering from IIT BHU, Varanasi, and Masters in Research degree from IIT Delhi. She is a gold medalist. She has hands-on and supervisory experience in communication system analysis, designs, development and support. Her area of work includes digital switching, UMTS, VoIP, chat protocol, law interception, internal navigation, text analytics, video analytics, big data analytics, mobile app development, artificial intelligence, and security. Welcome, ma'am. Also joining us this time is Dr. Dong-hee Sim from SK Telecom, South Korea. We just met him in the earlier session. And one for the last time, Dr. Bruno Huttner, ID, Quantique, Switzerland, and Shri Sunil Gupta, CEO of QNew Labs. I request the chair to kindly start the session.
The last 2 days, I think it has been really wonderful, and it has been enlightening for all of us that the work which is happening in the field of quantum communications and actually the Indian industry is progressing. It was even better for me to understand and know from the perspective, because I look at, as I brought out, that I was looking at technology and looking at scouting it for the Indian Army. And it also actually brings the belief to me that the quantum communication is actually fast moving away from the scientific curiosity to actually developing into an industrial product which can be actually used. Some clear applications emerging in the fields of communication and the cryptography, while others, I think, will need some time to evolve. We're talking about optimization and other problems as the quantum computers come up, which is a little long way to go. But all in this, it was wonderful to be among a very learned panel who will be taking on the questions which have already been sent by some of you, and during the course of discussion, the questions come up. I'll hand over to Mr. Kayum to start the discussions.
Thank you, sir. So, we all have sort of time. So, we have three panelists who have already spoken during the course of today's discussion. Only I will give 2-3 minutes to Madam Shikha to talk about what CDOT is doing. See, as an engineering center, it is having a lot of product, right? But from adoption perspective, what CDOT is doing to promote adoption of this technology. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kayum. Distinguished panel members and my senior colleagues and ladies and gentlemen, CDOT has been working on the quantum technologies, on QKD, quantum key distribution, and PQC, post-quantum cryptography. And as you know, that with quantum technologies, the hashing key strength will be halved. The PKI will be compromised, and the symmetric key strength will also be halved. So therefore, all the computing, all the data that is being stored or is being communicated, that data is under threat. And therefore, we have come up with this post-quantum cryptography solution, which is also deployed currently. And there are 2-3 modes in which we have deployed it. One is that between two sites, we can deploy it along with QKD. And we can also deploy it between a client and server, or we can deploy it between two clients. So this kind of solution is already there, and it is deployed, it's being used. And in the future, we are now working for increasing the capacity or scaling of the solution to handle more traffic.
Thank you, ma'am. Now, I will ask one question to Dr. Dong Hee Sim. So, perhaps SK Telecom is among few operators. I am not aware any other operator has used quantum in such a big way. So what has been the challenges when you started introducing quantum in your networks, and how long it took for you to reach a level when customer is satisfied? I am sure when you are introducing any new thing, there might be problem with the user experience itself. So what kind of challenges that you faced, and how you could dispel the apprehension of the customers? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kayum. Is it correct pronunciation? Kayum. Okay, sorry. Thank you. So for us, the most difficult part in the past to deploy QKD for our customers was to how to convince them, actually. So it's like from my perspective, personally, it's like selling premium insurances to the customers. So it's not really visible. So if you have a QKD keys and so what, you don't see the value, right, with keys. So you don't see the real user experience with keys because it's part of communication. You don't see, it's like app, it's like application. Instantly you experience that, you enjoy it. So it's like a part of the infrastructure. So it's very difficult to convince the customers there is value out there. So you need to educate them So what is the difference between the existing conventional solutions to this one? And then it takes time to talk to customers, to convince them there is threats, but it's hard to imagine if you are not familiar with this. So it's very difficult from the beginning to convince them first and to educate them slowly. So even ID Quantique had a winter school for that, and then we had our internal education program to talk to our customers. So if we try to talk to the banks and hospitals and factories, etc., it was very difficult to, for us, it's not just about the technology. Of course, technology is also a difficult part, but if you have a technology, it's how to convince them, use them. So for me, it's like a more, sales and marketing to educate them to sell premium insurances. That was actually the most difficult part. And the second one is also the policy. So it's as you notice that a lot of funding actually from government side, and also the maybe European Commission, Indian government, or the current government involved. Then it's like how to change the policy perspective, the conventional, key players in the government side. So they also from the beginning were not familiar with this, and then it was also we also try to not lobby them, but try to educate them to change the policy to adopt these advanced technologies from security perspective. So it was also a difficult part. So that was the second. So the major two different difficult part was to convince customers whether there is value or not, and then also change the policy to adopt these advanced technologies for them and government, also for the customers. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Just a follow-up question. Has it helped you to increase your revenue? I think many investors will be, like to know.
Okay. I'm not going to lie to you, as I said. So it's, as I said, that's why we started to use QKD for our backbone first, to see the benefits for ourselves, to convince our management to also. A lot of stakeholders involved, as you can imagine. And then with that evidence, with our experiences, we try to talk to our customers and many particular sectors and government, etc. At the moment, it's not really huge revenue at the moment. You're laughing. So as I said, I'm not going to lie to you.
No, it's an investment, you say.
Exactly. So you need to have a proper product first to really convince customers. So we are at this stage to try to make sales as much as possible, to try to convince as many vertical sectors possible. So at the moment, it's not there yet. So it's. I think the quantum technology, especially QKD, is niche. So we need to build an ecosystem. That's why personally, our company trying to talk to other operators like British Telecom, Deutsche Telekom, Telefonica, Orange, maybe I don't know, maybe Indian Telecom. Maybe there is operators out there interested in this QKD and the other technologies. So that's why we are talking to the many operators, also participating many SDOs, standard development organizations, to talk to them and to build an ecosystem, and then to find out any gaps over there, or to try to find our customers. So it's not quite making money at the moment. So we really hope we get there soon. So that's the current situation, to be honest.
If I may add, because we have the insight of 21 years now of quantum at ID Quantique, and I can tell you that the worries, Donghi says, were much, much worse when we started, because nobody knew about quantum, nobody was interested about quantum, nobody knew about the quantum threat. And I think, as Mr. Sharma just said, it was a little bit too early. And the company thrived because we were making random number generators and photon counters, and that somehow we helped. So initially it's an investment, that's what you normally say, and then the investment goes on and on and on for several years. And exactly as Donghi said, I think what's really interesting nowadays is that you have many telecoms who are really interested in implementing QKD. And we see Telefonica in Spain who is very active. Deutsche Telekom is also active and is building a network around between Berlin and Bonn. I mean, there's a lot of activity. British Telecom is actually building a network around London for customers. So they have, they're really basically making a network and trying to sell the QKD keys to their customers. It's early, so I'm not sure how much money they make, but that's very new as well. Even Orange in France is now moving in and working with us and with others. Actually, I think that's quite fair enough. So you see a very large difference between several years ago and today. Making money maybe is still, is still an investment maybe.
Thank you very much. So now I will come back to the panelist. Now the audience can raise their hands and ask few questions. We'll have few questions from the audience and then I'll come back to the panelists. Please.
Hello. So I am Somo from Tata Consultancy Services. So from the few talks we are listening that quantum computer will come, but when we will know that quantum computer has actually come? See, when quantum computer will come, so they will publicly announce that we have a quantum computer and we can break 2048 RSA, or they will start breaking the 2048 RSA or stealing some of our monies. So when that will happen? And my second question is, so like UK and China has already developed, India will be already developed to build this QKD. But the third world country like Africa, they have not done anything. So what will happen to them? So if quantum computer will come, so hacker will hack all the money from that Africa. So what will happen to the third world country? Right?
So I'll request Sunil, Mr. Sunil Gupta to answer if he can.
Okay. So I will give you the answer I normally give. It is sooner than what we expect this quantum computers will be there. Unfortunately, quantum computers will not come announced, right? It is believed that some of the countries already have significant compute power available to them with which they can today break even the current encryption. They may not disclose it, like when the Britishers broke Enigma in the World War II, they did not let Germans know for a long time because in counter intelligence or espionage, not disclosing that you have that capability is an advantage, right, to you. So I think the question is not if about when, right? Question is about if, right? So the question is what we need to be prepared for, right? Is that if it happens, how secure is our critical data? Now, it is also a function of your economy and your growth, right? Developed countries have where the GDP is more digitized, right? There the digital data, right, is all about, we're talking about digital economy, right? Digital economy will be more impacted. Africa is not yet digitized, barring a couple of countries, right? India digital GDP is growing exponentially. That's the reason the risk for India is significantly higher, right? So I think important is that we need to be prepared because as per some of the research, 2015 was the year. After that, we are in red, which means that now any data which is not quantum encrypted is under risk of harvesting and decrypting later because data would be relevant for 15 to 20 years or 25 years, right? So that's the problem that we need to worry about, right? Yeah.
Thank you very much. So, question.
Dr. Dong, that I think in presentation you have shown that Samsung Galaxy phone has used the QRNG. So what is the advantage they are getting it? And they have anything publicized or marketed as a marketing tool that they are using a QRNG and that their phones?
So I guess that was heavily marketized in South Korea at least. I think that particular three models, the spanning 3 years, actually only were sold in South Korean market at the moment, I guess, if I understood correctly. So then it was used to generate random numbers, as you know it. So it's like a provide randomness inside of smartphone too. So it was heavily marketized in South Korea, but I don't know why it was not really exported to other countries maybe, but it was Samsung's policy. But it was a kind of pilot project to put QRNG into the smartphone to demonstrate the capability of quantum technologies. As I said before, we already used the quantum random number generator in our authentication server in the network side to authenticate users. So we thought, why not it using the smartphone side and the mobile side to use quantum technology as much as possible. Because for us, it doesn't make sense. If you have already technology, it doesn't make sense not to use it. So as I said, we already deployed the QKD, we already used the QRNG, and then we thought it's useful to put the QRNG also to provide quantum level randomness to mobile, to use quantum technology as much as possible to provide at that level of security. So that was the idea. So.
Thank you.
So
More secure communication. Will buy a phone because it has quantum randomness. Somebody will buy a phone because the application using this randomness is more secure. And in Korea, what's happening is that Samsung and SK Telecom work together to develop some applications, for example, banking application, where they told their customers that if you are using the random number generator, the QRNG, to connect to this application, you will have a more secure environment. Now, how secure, that's a very interesting issue. You know, with security, it's always the same. You always spend too much on security before you are hacked, and you have never spent enough after you are hacked. So when you buy a phone, quantum phone in Korea, and you connect to your bank and you're happy that you haven't been hacked, you're happy. Now, how many people are hacked and wouldn't have been hacked if they... It's not something we know for the moment. So I think it's a little bit of chicken and egg problem. You need, people will take the quantum phone when they have enough applications, but you need to develop application for the phone. But of course, if you want to develop, you need to do that before you have the application. So it's a little bit hard to start. They started in Korea. They're now at the 3rd generation of phones. They have sold several millions of them. So let's say it's getting there. We are working hard to sell the same kind of technology to other manufacturers, clearly, and it takes a lot of time. I would say we're quite optimistic, but it does take a lot of time. And their problem is also how to market. How do you market security? It's not so easy. But
Thank you.
No, I think you already talked about it. Then normally what happens is that every device that you have, it has an entropy generated through the operating system. A lot of time the entropy is not sufficient, as Dr. Bruno was saying, right? So the quantum random number or chip on the mobile phone means that you're never starved of the entropy. And entropy is the basic root of trust. All the keys that you generate is generated through random number generator. So idea here is that with the QRNG on a mobile phone, you are having the best in class high entropy, right? And a high randomness, right? A high entropy and high throughput that you have in order to make sure that numerous applications never starve of the random numbers. That's the whole objective.
Thank you very much. Okay, on this side.
First of all, thanks to TC and the organizers and the speakers for excellent knowledge they shared. One thought that comes to mind is regarding waste management. We are all concerned about the Mother Earth these days, sustainability and recyclability and circular economy. Now, e-waste has become a problem because perhaps, I don't know whether while developing so much of electronics, we never thought by design. Now, will there be similar problem of Q-waste also? I don't know whether it's a right question or long-term question. Will that lead to circular issues or linear issues of economy? I don't know. Probably the experts may like to share their view.
Who would like to answer?
Yeah, I think it's a tricky question. In terms of quantum computation, maybe I can get out like that. Quantum computation, what is nice, it's the computation itself is reversible, so you don't generate entropy in itself, and therefore maybe you don't generate so much heat. And actually, the quantum computer can run without generating heat until you measure it. So maybe that's better than a high-power computer which generates a lot of heat, which has to be cooled. But on the other hand, you need to cool the computer to minus to almost zero. So maybe this answer is you need to cool it, but then you don't heat it too much. But so that's probably not so good. Now, in terms of electronics and so on, I think we're wasting a lot of resources on many, many things. That could be one of them. I don't see this as a problem in the short run because we won't have many of these. I think it's a problem for the future. We need to think about that, but there is nothing special about quantum which will make it more wasteful than anything else. I think maybe on the opposite, actually, because you can work maybe with smaller and smaller things. You don't need this very large thing. So I would say maybe getting to smaller and smaller is probably better for the planet, assuming we don't throw the chips away afterwards, which were written by somebody who. So we need to be careful, but still. The idea to get to smaller and smaller size is probably a good one in any case. I mean, that would be my answer.
Thank you very much. Actually, I'll just add what others said, that like many other items which has gone into communication system, in due course, this quantum itself will go inside the communication. It will not be something what we are talking that an identity, a separate verticals or separate system. This will go inside the devices itself. So the discussion of having separate quantum and separate electronic itself will cease. So whatever e-waste we see, it will be the similar kind of things. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so I'm worried about a future dilemma which we may face. As we know that law enforcement agencies are many times compelled to intercept calls and data of citizens, and this quantum era will lead us to a possible quantum encryption by the users. So how these two situations will go hand in hand in future?
Thank you. Who would like to answer? Yeah, please.
I think quantum era will be a boon for the LEAs because they will get to hear many of the data and see and hear the conversations of all the encrypted in communication which is happening right now. Because if you see with the onset of HTTPS and even encrypted communication over audio communication, so all that information which is being intercepted right now is not very easily decryptable. But with the advent of quantum computers, at least they will be the beneficiaries of this and they will benefit from it. In the beginning, of course, till the quantum encryption itself is being used widely. I mean, the way it depends on how soon it, as he's saying, that people are not readily adopting it. So the adoption rate will actually determine that. But that there will be one period where everything will be exposed. Even, see, there are three parts of the security: authentication and this confidentiality and reliability. So integrity. So even what information is being sent to me, whether it is correct, that will also be doubtful. And the person who has sent it, that will also be doubtful. So that era will be a very, very difficult era, especially in the area of communications. So probably all the defense and other security organizations, government organizations, they will be having their own networks probably at that time to ensure this.
Thank you very much. Would you like to add, sir?
Yeah. You see, the security also depends on the applications. If somebody is bringing out today, it's the hardware plus the applications. If you see the interception, the way it takes place today, it is not purely dependent on the way the application is encrypting things. So I'll just leave it at that. there are other means to handle the encryption, to the interception part. And that will continue. It's not going to change actually.
Thank you, sir.
One supplementary question on this. I think I am audible. We are saying that on quantum security, whenever we intrude the system, it will stop working. Security will be break and it will be classical one. So how we will intercept this? Security agencies, how they will intercept this?
So
yeah, you can take one, please.
I can. I mean, actually, I could answer that also with a question: why would the bad guys want to use quantum encryption? The problem is that in order to use QKD, you need to authenticate yourself first. So, and you need also to have linked with an optical fiber and so on and so forth. So, I think it could be actually easier for people to track the bad guys if they are using quantum encryption. If I was a bad guy, I would probably rely on something else, which is totally independent of the network. For example, I would exchange keys with another bad guy, and then we can communicate securely even today. I mean, if I give you a 256-bit key, and we share it together, then we can use it, and it's totally unbreakable. Okay? So why do we need if we want to use QKD to do the same thing, okay, we need to go through the network, we need to authenticate ourselves to the network, we need to connect to the network in a very specific place. I mean, the bad guy could do it without QKD, basically, and QKD will not change that too much.
No, I'm saying that bad guy is not encrypting. Your transmission system itself is encrypted. In normal case, if you want to intercept in your transmission system, what we are doing today, so how it is possible for TSP's network to intercept on the TSP's network? In this case, suppose we are having quantum network across the network, it is quantum distributed. In that scenario.
Maybe I didn't understand well. What I was saying is that basically, if today we share a secret key together and we encrypt with it, then nobody can decrypt it. Not the best possible law enforcement agency. So we have a way to use symmetric keys today, and it's very simple. Because if we want to communicate between two people who know each other, so I don't think that QKD will change that much this fact. But maybe I didn't really understand the question.
Okay, I would like to add. Basically, I think you're talking about tapping the QKD link. So I think now we are not doing any tapping. Even in this current interception system, that was an old system where we used to tap, means from the wire tapping used to be there. But even in the current interception system, that is not the case.
I am very much aware about that. I am just saying that even photon can implement
that's what
your quantum system. So if you are taking anything from the existing tunnel, that is going to disturb it. No?
So that's what we are not taking from the tunnel, we are taking from the end. So, that is the difference. Like you are saying that we will take from the tunnel.
Okay, I will just add. Actually, whatever we are talking about, it is the transmission systems. It is not on the switching center itself. So whatever tapping is happening, that is at the switching center, not in the transmission. So here the security is being provided between two nodes, and there is no switching in between. It is just transmission from one end to another end, and there is no tapping even today in that. So any other question?
Yeah, I have.
Yes.
I am Arun Agrawal, DDG in Telecom Engineering Center. Now we are talking about quantum communication, where there is a lot of emphasis on secure communication. So do we foresee that in the future the quantum communication will be used in a big way, just like normal optical communication as we are using today, or whether it will be primarily used only for secured communication for defense purpose or for other purposes only? Thank you.
So who would like to take this question?
I can answer. See, even now, even today, even the OTT apps which you're using are secured. So everyone wants security. No one wants that I should be using insecure communication for whatever reasons. I think that would be a normal choice, and therefore quantum networks and quantum computing will be a part of the natural evolution of our computing system and our communication system, and slowly it will evolve, and maybe it will take over. See, there's nothing static. Even our computing right now has gone an evolution. It has increased in power, in efficiency, etc. Now we have GPUs which are giving much better performance. And now with quantum, this artificial intelligence will be faster. And the error rates of artificial intelligence results are much lower with quantum computers, as has been seen. So therefore, this will be a natural evolution, and people will use it, I think, in future.
I'll just add a little bit. You see, what happens, how secure is secure. Today, your financial systems, for example, if they come under threat, you'll have no option to change over. You see, the point is that what kind of security you are asking. We were just talking about that somebody asked that how fast the quantum computers are going to come. And the answer was perhaps they have come. So today we see that the classical algorithms have already been broken. All banking systems will have no choice to change over. So because you see the way the economy today, in fact within India, the way the digital economy is building up, the options will be very limited not to change over. So that is one example, and similarly the examples will follow, as the ma'am said, that it will be a natural evolution coming up from there.
So one question.
I think
one last question.
His question was that whether the classical communication is going to be replaced by quantum communication. No. Actually, what we are talking about, that only the key, that is used in the encryption, whatever, if you say quantum network or quantum internet, that means the keys are on a network, not the data. Data will still keep on going on the classical channels. It is just, add on to the classical network. Thank you.
If I may add one thing, I totally agree with what you said. I think it's very important that the network, quantum network, which transmit keys today, because we have QKD. In the future, we have quantum repeaters. It may transmit quantum states, and that's what we call the quantum internet. But again, these states will not be used for data transfer. The classical part will always be used for data transfer. The quantum states will be used to connect quantum computers to do some very, very specific things with very low rate. I mean, we are not going to have terabit per second of data of qubits. That's totally realistic. We will have a few qubits with high value, which we can use to connect quantum computers maybe. Today we have relatively short keys, which we can use for encryption. And again, it's exactly really no data. Don't think that the quantum system will replace the data. It's very important to remember the two will work together, each one for each particular application. Today keys, tomorrow quantum states for the quantum network.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bruno. You have a question? Here,
okay.
please.
Let him ask first.
Sir, I'm this side, Murali Krishna, DDGRTC. Sir, from the yesterday and today, at least my understanding is that we have been deliberating this quantum communication is based on the perceived threat from the China, and all countries all world over is pumping billions of dollars towards this. My question is, okay, quantum communication may lead to, whether it leads to secondary benefits other than the security. That is point number one. Point number two is that, is there any other method of handling to counter the security threat from the China or any other, any other method of countering the security threat of hacking or disturbing the RSA 2048 bits security keys?
Yeah, I'll just answer this. So you would have seen that the two things have already been talked about. It's not about against China. It is about threat against quantum computer, right? Now the quantum computer, as we know, that it threatens to break the asymmetric keys, right? PKI. So there earlier when that ID Quantique started, it was largely QKD, right? That was the only way using quantum physics to break the quantum physics problem, right? But later on, as you saw, that mathematics have come in, right? Advanced mathematics, lattice code. So that's the second way of solving the problem. Tomorrow, some other new algorithms might come up, which will become quantum resistant. The idea is that how do we use algorithms, right, or a mechanism to generate keys that are quantum resistant or quantum safe. That's the whole game, right? Because quantum computer threaten to break that encryption key, right? So we already seen in the last decade, so at least 2 or 3 methods, right? And today people are talking about using hybrid, right? Both QKD and PQC, or classical keys and PQC keys together. So hopefully in the near future, there are new algorithms might emerge, right? So that's the way it's going to happen.
Thank you. So, yeah, second row.
My question is to CROD, Mrs. Shikha. So this is primarily with respect to the fact that CROD has now been entrusted the responsibility of spearheading the National Quantum Mission in the form of taking ahead the quantum alliance of the country. So what are our plans? What all is coming on in your bucket list? What do you aim to do, achieve, especially in the context of the fact that the stakeholders have varying commercial as well as the development interests, the IPRs, all those issues are there. And CDOT itself is in the development domain of the products that you listed that you are developing. And the second associated part is that when we are looking at security, we are talking about the cryptographic applications of quantum, we are looking at the entire sea change to the current traditional cryptographic policies and framework under which the evaluation and the implementation of the products is happening. So how do you achieve the plan to achieve a change in these policies, and in what time frame do you expect that these changes can come in the country?
I think CDOT has got a very huge responsibility of this heading the mission of quantum technologies in the country. And but today, I mean, in this 2-day conclave, we have seen that there are so many experts in the country, and definitely we would like to work with all of them. And we will work with academia and industry, and in a collaborative mode. And we need to work out some basic building blocks, which should, and by the time frame by which those building blocks should be ready, and so that our country's security and the security of the critical infrastructure is not compromised. So that we can decide along with the security agencies, and then together in the consortium we can see the expertise of the different institutes, and together with them we can assign those building blocks to different institutes and then stitch them together. That is one way which we would like to work. Of course, innovation in this field is very much required, so we would encourage these agencies to continue their research work, which will definitely help us to move forward in this area. And regarding the policies, and also I would like to add that we can also have an advisory board of experts for leading this consortium, which will guide us in the right direction, in the right technology direction. And also from the security point of view, there will be some testers also to see whether this the products which are being developed are secure or not, are meeting the security standards or not. So then we also need to have this development of those test bodies, the people who will actually test these new products. So development, research and testing in a collaborative way, that would be the path which we would definitely like to take. And regarding the policies, I think that will take a little time, because this is being picked up as we see worldwide in the globally. If we see, even other countries have now come up and have made use of PQC as compulsory, especially for secure and government organizations. So even now in India also, probably we need to see at which point we have to do that. Are we ready for it? So it may take say 6 months to a year, when we can say that yes, we are ready. Probably in 6 months or a year in time we can start these policies changes, but they will evolve.
Thank you very much. Yeah,
Yeah, myself Sushil Kumar, DDG IoT in TEC. So from the transmission network, let us come to the Internet of Things domain. As we know, the IoT devices are being used in the critical infrastructure, and that is, we are speaking about the transmission network that can be secured by using QKD. And my question is, Microsoft published a report in November 2022 that a large amount of malware infection is being generated by the IoT devices, and on the top is the China, then US, and then the India. And India is at the third position in generating malware infection, and almost all the IoT devices, whether it is the smartphone gateways or the Wi-Fi hotspots or smart cameras and so many, they say that all are vulnerable. Whether after using the QKD techniques for the IoT devices, I think, which will be developed in near future after like NIST and other algorithms, other organizations are working on this, whether the vulnerabilities can be reduced or it can be, this network will not be vulnerable at all.
Yeah, we'll take this question.
First of all, let me correct one thing. IoT devices cannot be connected through QKD today because they are too small and they are not connecting to fibers. Maybe what you meant is a QRNG. And that's what can be done. Basically, you can improve the... First of all, you need to encrypt the devices. And that's actually the first step, which is not really done today. Many of the devices you mentioned are simply put on the web without any kind of security, which then opens them totally to malware. So the first thing is to stop that. And that's totally classical means. I mean, there is no quantum threat or whatever. You can really do it classically if you just want to. And the worry is that you don't do it today. Second step is, if you want to secure the devices better, then the best is to use better keys when they connect to the internet. And therefore, you can use, for example, a random number generator to make sure that every entropy used by the device is a good one. And that's actually a very important point. If you have a device which is on its own, let's say a camera, you cannot get randomness from anywhere. You should only get it from inside the device. And that's where the quantum is good, because a quantum effect can be really directly in the device and give the randomness. But again, it's important, but it's only a second step. The first step is just encrypt every kind of IoT device you put on the internet by any means you want, and that would probably reduce this problem a lot.
I think you are speaking about the secure onboarding of the devices, and I think that is already being done across various smart city platforms.
It's
and
changing, you're right, yeah.
Using the X.509 this certificate in the PKI infrastructure. That is already being done. But the malware infection is being generated a lot even then. So it means the basic guidelines which are available from the various standardization bodies like ITSI or the World Economic Forum, those are required to be used for securing the IoT devices, and I think QKD will not be able to secure the IoT devices.
Thank you very much, sir.
Sir, I will answer.
No. Any other question? Yeah.
Sir, can I...
Good evening, sir. I am Sri Krishna, DDG NCCS Bangalore. One of the speakers have told that the quantum computer supremacy could be established with 50 qubit system when compared to classical computer. And QKD systems have been deployed now in various telecom networks. Whether any study has been done to compare it with the existing key exchange algorithms which are already available, how supreme or how secure they are compared to existing key exchange algorithms? Any study has been done or any information is available on that?
I think the best part of this QKD is, as the gentleman over there has said, that if anyone is listening to the conversation, that can be detected very easily as compared to the classical. So that is why it has been, and these systems have been tested, the keys transmitted between two sites, and they are being used also. I mean, in the routers for encrypting the traffic. So it has been tested in that way. I mean, our product as such has been tested.
So I'll just
Thank you, ma'am.
I'll just add to that. Sorry. So there are two different concepts, right? Quantum supremacy is a term used when then the quantum computers can solve a problem that can't be solved by classical computers, right? So that is different, and 52 qubit can only solve one particular problem, right? It's not that it can solve all the classical problems. While to break encryption, right? Encryption key, RSA, or elliptical curve cryptography, you need at least few thousand qubits of quantum computer, right? So that probably is not going to be available for another 2 years, right? We will know. I think the important is not that. If you see, earlier it was said that you probably need a few 100,000 or a million qubits to computer to break the RSA 2048. But recently Chinese scared everybody when their scientists came back and said 373 qubit of quantum computer will be able to use their algorithm to break the RSA 2048, right? So effort is on that how do we build a more efficient quantum algorithm who can run on today's available quantum computer, not a future universal scalable quantum computers. That's where the threat is, right? Imagine if that is true, 373 qubits, and IBM will actually launch a 400 qubits, odd qubits of quantum computer by end of this year, right? Or maybe middle of this year. That is the risk case, right? So people are continuously devising a smarter algorithm that can run faster on the existing quantum computers, right? While supremacy is a different concept.
Thank you very much. Okay, Raju, do you have a question?
Sir, I am Venkatramaraju Chelle, Director Quantum Technology. If NIST has taken 4 phases of quantum algorithms, look at each phase, some are being eliminated, some are being eliminated because of they have found they can breakable, like a cycle, rainbow, just example. Similarly, we don't know how much sure they are secured against that not breakable. Somebody assume that they know that how to break the key algorithms. They will not disclose outside. So really, does it depend on NIST exclusively? Does it a right way, or shall we make a best effort to further do ourselves? And then next,
that's a very interesting. That's a very interesting point. Really, NIST said that the best way to test if the algorithm is broken or not is to put it in the open. Obviously, if today I know how to break lattice-based system, I will not tell you. I will just do it. You know. But it seems that the cryptographers are a kind of special bunch, but they are really, I mean, mostly honest. And what they really want is to try and break the system and be known that they did it. I mean, you could see the Belgian guy, I don't remember the name right now, you know, I should actually, because he managed to break a psych, and he did not hide it, he actually put it in the open. Now, what these people say, which is also interesting, is that if one of them manage to do something, another one will find soon out also. Which means that, okay, if you break something, you keep it for yourself. In a few years, not so long, somebody will do the same, and then all your effort will be in vain because you won't even be recognized. So, but again, the only possible solution is, like NIST said, to be in the open and to try and convince people that the best solution is to actually publish what you're doing. And we had a nice example of that with the Israeli, actually it was Secret Service or something like that, and they didn't even want to say who did that. The only, what we knew is that it was from Israeli Defense Unit called Matzov, no name, we don't know, but somehow they said, we found an attack against Khyber, we believe it is our responsibility to let you know. That was it, okay? So maybe somebody else has found another attack against Khyber, but I encourage every single cryptographer to do it, and that's what NIST is trying to do. It has to be in the open. If you hide something, then it will be much harder to trust it somehow.
Thank you very much. Any other question? Yeah, please.
Good evening, I am Dhruv Shaw from LP Jalandhar. So, my question is specifically for Bruno sir. So, Sir, you said that quantum with the quantum computer you can get the true randomness. So like there is a superposition of state, and if you want to like take the value out of that superposition of state, you get a random number. So does that randomness actually speed up the computing power, like like from that randomness to get something deterministic? We need a pseudo random generator which is actually less secure. So please comment on this.
Okay, so in order to get, first of all, it's not quantum computer. I mean, there have been talks about quantum computer giving randomness. I think, of course they can, but it's probably a sledgehammer to break an egg. So you can generate randomness with a single quantum. What I was saying is that you take a qubit in the superposition of 0 and 1. When you measure it, you have a random result. Now, you may not have enough randomness if you use that, and therefore sometimes you need to expand the randomness, or you need also actually to make sure that you have perfect randomness, which you don't get from a physical system. For example, if I put my system in a superposition of 0 and 1, it will not be 50-50, it will be 51-49. So somehow you generate the entropy, which is not perfect, you run it through a classical processor, which will then give you perfect random numbers. And that's why you need to have these two steps. And it's not me telling that. I mean, yeah, I'm telling you that, but it's from NIST. It's not from me. It's really two different things. Source of entropy, which has to be random but not perfect, and then you process it to make it as perfect as possible through a classical processor. No quantum computer in all of this anyway.
And then just to add to that, that's the reason getting a high throughput and high entropy quantum random number is a holy grail, right? It's not very difficult because you can get a low entropy, you get a high randomness, low throughput and high randomness. But if you want a high entropy for most of the application, high throughput, then you have to do DRBG and other stuff, right? And that's the reason real quantum QRNG is rare.
Thank you very much, sir. We will have only 2 questions from the audience. Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. Myself, Manish. I am from CDOT. So right now, what we have discussed is the securing the transmission channel. So my question is, since most of the world has been working on the application layer, so would there be any threat to the application layer by coming of the quantum computers? And if, in one of the presentations, we heard that HTTPS and IPsec would be undermined by coming of a quantum computer. So would that be the case? And if so, then is there any work in actually someone doing work right now to actually securing it? Thank you.
Yeah, actually, a lot of work is already happening. India has already the solutions to we call it quantum secure VPNs. So basically what you do is that, again, IPsec, when you do, the algorithm that you're using are classical. So what happens during handshaking, you have an option to choose the quantum algorithms, right? So today, post-quantum crypto algorithms are used to create the IPsec or the other TLS which is using based on the post-quantum cryptography, right? And that's the reason it is secure in future. So that work is already available.
Thank you very much. There is a quantum product for each layer. So,
if I can add that, I mean, for the IPsec, I guess as a pre-shared secret, even QKD keys can be used as pre-shared secret too. So it's the IETF that's working on it, and I guess the RFC is already available. So I guess we have a solution for that already. Thank you.
I think OpenSSL APIs have not yet included these PQC algorithms. So that work is still pending. So it will come in, I think, next 6 months to 1 year. So the applications.
One question from this.
Sir, I am Captain Yuvraj from Naval Headquarters. My question is regarding applications other than communication. So the last speaker brought out that by using quantum technology, the effectiveness of various sensors will improve. So if the effectiveness of sensors will improve, it will result in the better effectiveness of weapons also. So any predictions on that? which somebody else in the world is already working on it. Specifically with regard to magnetic sensors, EOIR and radar.
I mean, quantum weapons. No, I think you're right. The one thing we can get is improved sensors, and sensors may be part of a weapon system. I don't see quantum today being used in the weapon itself, but more to help the weapon. For example, that was given by Mr. Sharma just a few moments ago when he said that with a quantum sensor you find a tunnel. So if you can, from above, from a plane or something, find out that there is a tunnel, then you can use it and destroy it or something. So you can enhance your weapons with the quantum sensors. I have not heard of any weapon directly using quantum to do something. I mean, that's something.
I just want to add to the officer's thing. Yes, it does improve because lightweight, low light scenarios, it's been seen that the imaging, the sensors, it is really going to improve. So more optic you get, it's like a telescopic effect you get out of the night vision goggles or night vision, weapons you have. So it is certainly going to do that. So even today, lasers are being used for night vision thing. So when you have same optics, so we are going to use that for quantum is being used there. So in a previous conference, somebody was telling about the sensors. Quantum sensors here might corroborate, but it's true that it is going to improve that.
And quantum radars are there anyway. Quantum radars have the capability.
Yes, sir. My question to that is, any predictions on that? How many years down the line?
It is already there.
Because the last speaker said something about transparent oceans. If somebody talks about transparent oceans, it means submarines are totally vulnerable.
So work is going on where probably in another year or so, right? We would have in India sensors to detect underground any movement around in the undersea cables, and also detection of tunnels. And radar work is also going on where you can use quantum physics phenomena to detect the stealth aircraft and submarines.
So we can safely assume in a few years. 2 years.
It's there.
So thank you very much.
Just when you have a startup, 2 years is what you tell your investors, because otherwise they won't invest. When you have a company or when you're building a quantum computer, you say 10 years because then you have time to do whatever you need to do. So it's either 2 years or 10 years.
So I just wanted to state one thing regarding somebody here talked about the IoT. So in the context of cryptographic standards, NIST has recently, announced a call for algorithms for test vector code for lightweight cryptography. So there is a whole slew of things going on there. There are a lot of candidates. It's going to go through another 5-6 year cycle. So specifically targeting the lightweight cryptography parts. So I think anybody who is looking at it, so PQC is one thing. We are going to look at the implementation constraints and all that lightweightness of the existing thing. So PQC is pretty much towards replacing or advancing the existing cryptographic infrastructure, but for the devices and all that spread out across the world. So they are looking at standards because very important that sensors and the lightweight IoT device have to be compatible, because we can try to all the important servers and clients we can do heavyweight cryptography, but updating the millions of IoT devices is going to be a problem. That's where interoperability comes into play. So this need has been recognized. So both NIST and ATSI are working on it. So there is a call there. If anybody has algorithms, they can submit too.
Thank you very much. And that was the last question. Now I request Chair to.
Yes, one last question. Yeah.
You take on to
this.
Yes.
Please.
So my question is open for all the panelists. So given the different types of QKD protocols, which one do you think has the highest potential for mass implementation?
Mass implementation.
Yeah.
I think you're saying mass implementation.
I think PQC. He referred maybe PQC.
No, I'm talking about QKD protocols. So we have a number of different QKD protocols. Which one do you think has the highest potential for mass implementation? Because that's what we are looking for, right?
Okay. Yeah, I think we can answer together. No?
Yes.
I mean, each protocol has advantages or inconvenience, but the one which is typically going to be standardized and that will probably be used everywhere is BB84 with decoy. That's probably the first one that at least we are working on that. Etsy is working on that, and everybody I know is working on trying to put that. There will be others later, but this one is probably the first one and the mass one.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. Yeah.
If
Euro QCI is also adopting that, right?
Yeah.
So,
if I can,
BB84 the require.
Thank you very much, Madam Shikha. Would you like to? Yeah. So thank you very much. Now I request Chair to allow closer on this.
Yeah, it's I think the most interesting session. Very, very interesting questions, and with the interest of audience, it is very evident that the quantum is heading into the right direction in India, and equally interesting answers. I thank my fellow panelists for such wonderful and taking interest and answering each and every query with a lot of enthusiasm. And yes. I think it also actually comes on me to thank the organizers for organizing such a wonderful event where the entire academy and the industry, the international fora has been brought together at one forum, and it is the right step into stepping into the quantum era for the country. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Well, as Dr. Bruno put yesterday, that quantum communication era is at the door. Well, sooner or later, it's going to enter the door and be part of our lives. It is inevitable. The future of quantum communication looks very promising, as it has potential to revolutionize the way we communicate and secure data. However, there are many challenges. The perspicuous presentations, the engaging deliberations and stimulating sessions, the brainstorming provided food for thought, and the takeaways will definitely enrich everyone. That was the last session of the first International Quantum Communication Conclave. 2 दिनों में जो मंथन हुआ है, जो चिंतन हुआ है, आशा करते हैं आप सभी का ज्ञानवर्धन करेगा. और आगे बढ़ने से पहले we have closing remarks also. We'd like to present mementos to our few of our members, as some of them have already got it. So I request Shri Arun Agrawal, DDG TEC, to present a memento to Honorable Chair Major General Sanjeev Sharma. And now I request Honorable Chair to present memento to Shikha Srivastava, Director, Member Board, CDOT. And now one memento for Shri Sunil Gupta, CEO of Q New Labs. Let's have a group photograph with all of you standing. And may I request Dr. Manjunath Iyer from Wipro to present his closing remarks.